Alright, so this is going to be a tutorial for Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, the Shura Ending Unrestricted category, also known as any percent. This tutorial is aimed at beginners to the category, not people going for the world record, so it's going to involve a lot of safety strats. If people like this, maybe I'll make one that has all the world record strats, but for this it's going to be like your first run. I want to get through it nicely, cleanly. It's not going to be for I want to get every little optimal time save. So it's going to start out here pretty basic. Basically just follow along on the route. Make sure you're jumping because it's very slightly faster, but other than that it's just kind of follow this path. There is one thing coming up here that's so easy that I'm just going to do it anyway. If you get the first guy on the left to notice you, then you crouch for a second. It'll delay the guy on the right shooting and make the rest of this just a little bit easier. Then you can pretty much just jump straight there. Jump into the window here. For button mashing, make sure you don't just spam the button, actually try to time it here. So if you just spam it, I'm going as fast as I can, it's actually a very, very slow mash through, whereas if you time it, you can actually get it to go much faster. Here again, we're just running, just follow the path. Nothing interesting here. And make sure you do pick up that fistful of ash there. We will absolutely need it later. That jump there on the tree can be a little tricky, so just make sure that you practice that a bit. Here, this jump, make sure you're kind of right on the corner to get that jump. But everything here should be pretty easy, pretty basic. As you're jumping here in the tunnel, don't spam the jump button, otherwise you'll do like a wall kick off of the beams, so just be a little careful about that. Alright, you just want to die to him, so just run up as fast as you can. If you do a little bit of a left strafe right at the end, you can save a tiny bit of time, but it doesn't really matter. Alright, so now we've got our sword, now we can actually start going fast. And again, for a little while it's just going to be follow the path. Make sure that you do jump over here and grab this ash here. Again, we'll want it for later. Then we're grappling up to the upper of those 2 points, so make sure to point your camera pretty far up. And then for beginner strat, we're going to come over here and get this gachin sugar here. Then we want to jump off of, oops, I aimed a little too far right. Jump off of this branch, aiming a little bit to the left on it, like that, to get this grapple. Alright, and now we're going to equip some items. You want the idol, healing gourd for safety, and the gachin sugar. You don't need the ash yet. Switch over to the gachin and make sure that we use it here so that we can sneak by these guys and get our stealth blow on the ogre. Come up. I like to crouch, walk into the ogre, and then kind of position myself to get the death blow. Do not lock on to the ogre. Swing about 3 times and then dodge. Try to stay behind him. As soon as he's facing you, just wait for his attack and dodge through. You don't need to play this one too risky. If he looks like he's about to attack, just wait for his attack and then dodge. One important thing, make sure to do the death blow here from behind. It's a much quicker animation. If you death blow him from the front, you're just going to lose like a second for no reason. Right here, it's just going to be kind of follow the path for a little while. If there is a red warning there, then it means the snake saw you and you have to slow up for a bit and let him pass, but he didn't see me there, so I got to just keep going. Here we're going to shimmy along the ledge, and as soon as you get to that kind of rock formation, you can actually jump to the end. You don't have to keep shimmying right about here. Then go around this hut, and then stay left until the snake comes by, and then you can grapple over here and keep going. Alright, here I'm going to grab some gachine sugar. You don't actually need this, like really don't need that, but it's used in the later, better strategies, so I just have the muscle memory. Here I'm going to grab some Fistful of Ash. This is purely for safety. If you start getting good at later when we're going to use the ash on the monk, don't grab that ash. That's the first one to start skipping. Alright, now we're on to horse skip. First, we're going to come over to this fire here. This is sort of your visual cue for where to turn in and start running at that tower there. So we run at the tower. You have to run a little bit past it and jump from a spot that's around right here. If you do that, you'll be able to jump up onto this, jump up here, get yourself kind of into this area, aim at the corner, and jump like that. Then from there, the general best strategy to go is to run by this tree, jump out to this island over here, and then you're going to grapple up to this right here. And wait for him to fall off, just like that. Now we can jump over here, come up this way, and now we're on to our next skip, which is the bull skip. Oh, I should actually mention this. So once you grapple up here, you're going to want to jump here and then do a backflip to grab onto the next one. Right. So then you want to position yourself somewhere roughly in the middle of the house, doesn't matter exactly where. Aim right at that top corner right there. And the goal is that you jump off this and then you do a wall jump off of that part of the tree right there. That sort of part that's sticking out the most. So you get yourself kind of in the middle here. You run off here, do a wall kick off of here, and turn yourself over there. And if you do it right, you can just barely get up onto that ledge there. Like that. Oh, whoops. Not like that, apparently. Thought I had it. There it is. So, this is one to definitely practice a lot, because it is not easy. But to me it's easiest if you run right at the corner, and then try jumping on the tree branches a little bit later than you think you should. But that's sort of the best advice I can give. Try it out your own way, see what works for you. Here at the idol, make sure that you do enhance your attack power. It's going to be super important because we've got a couple of fights coming up that are going to be made a lot faster. In fact, that's the reason that we waited for Gyobu to fall instead of just continuing to run. Right here, we're gonna jump off of this corner and make sure you get a good wall kick, grapple over here, and we're gonna be doing the lone shadow fight. As I come up to here, make sure that you stop sprinting. You're just in regular running as you walk off, otherwise you'll overshoot him. Do the aerial death blow. And I'm gonna cheese him here. You can also fight him normally, he's not too hard, but if you come into this corner and get him to go into the corner, you can just what's called dead angle him. So don't lock on, you're just swinging at about a 90-degree angle to him. He's not going to be able to move because he's locked in the corner, and he's not going to be able to block because you're not facing him. Make sure that you do hold your item get button to get in the money that he gives. We do need the money for later, so you have to make sure to get the money from him. Right here, again, just sort of following the path. We're going to jump off here, and there'll be a grapple point that comes down. You can just spam the grapple button without really any fear. Come over here, make sure that you do grab this ash. We're going to need it. And for extreme safety, I'm going to grab this idol here. I don't actually recommend that you do this once you get, you know, reasonably confident. But for now, I'm going to grab the idol. So again here, this is one of the stop sprinting before you walk off. You want to go about where these two surfaces meet, just a little to the left, and then you're going to death blow this guy. You'll notice she starts to see you. Jump as soon as you can. If you delay your jump at all, she's going to see you, and you're not going to be able to get the stealth death blow on her. So come over here, stealth up, get the death blow from behind, and now you're going to want to sort of lock her in the corner, like this. You can actually deflect that, even though it's a grab. It's one of the few that you can deflect in the game. And then again, we're just going to dead angle her. While you're dead angling her, the only thing she can do is grab. So all you gotta do is be ready for if she starts the grab. It's pretty slow, so you've got tons of time to react. And then boom, kill her like that. Again, make sure that you do scoop up her money. We will need it later. You can also scoop up the money from the gunner that I killed, but I generally forget to do that because it's a smaller amount of money that's less important. Alright, here, just doing a wall jump to get across this quickly. You can also grapple across the intended way. Here, for the chicken, make sure you walk a few steps forward before doing a jump. Don't sprint there, and it'll be more consistent. He's not going to hit you as often. Make sure to come down there and get the Yashariku. You're going to need it. And then follow this path up here to get these snap seeds. Alright, here we're coming up on a pretty easy skip, but it can be a little tricky. So you're just going to jump up onto this corner here. I like to aim at this sort of vertical part of the branch, and then turn myself to land on that horizontal part of the branch. Like that. Then you jump up here, sprint off this. Whoops. And usually you can get the aerial version of the death blow, which is a little quicker, but I sort of stubbed my toe on the beam, and so I had to do the regular death blow. Make sure to, again, scoop up the money as you're walking by. And do pick up that Yashariku sugar that's on the ground. Here we're going to just jump off and grapple here at the bottom onto this tree. Save ourselves the fall damage. And just make our way through Mibu Village pretty simply. This path that I run, I like, but some people also will use the grapple there instead of just running by the guy. I don't know which one is faster, but a lot of people do the grapple, so it might be slightly faster, but I like that way. Alright. Once you get up here, you're going to want to switch out your items for this monk fight. So I'm just going to put it the way that I have the items, but the 4 that you need to have equipped here. You need Gachin, you need Yashariku, you need Fistful of Ash, and you need Snapseed, and I would highly recommend that Fistful of Ash and Snapseed are right next to each other, because you need both of them in this fight. So you're going to start with Snapseed, and run all the way over here, next to this lantern here. Normally you wouldn't stop, but I'm going to stop to see. And then you see that rock formation that's just above Sekiro's head right there. That's what you're going to be running to and using your Snapseed. For a little bit of safety, I'm going to be running to the left of that rock formation rather than straight at it. That way I can make sure she doesn't see me. So we're just going to run over here and start snapping as soon as we get there. Do 1, 2, delay the 3rd, and then just throw all 7 of your ash. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Oops, missed. 6, 7. That's okay. We had plenty of extras because we did some safety. Then you back up and you do wall kick off of this tombstone to get the aerial death blow on her. Since you have 7 Ash, it should be very, very easy to do. You should not need to do anything fancy for it. But if you're doing something more like a 5 Ash, which is a pretty standard one to do, then you'll want to do that pretty quickly. You won't have a lot of time to waste. Alright, run over, grab that, and idle back. One thing that I did forget to do, because I was explaining, is as soon as you see Shinobi Execution, you can actually quit out in order to save a little bit of time of the door opening up. It's very, very minor, so if you don't want to, you don't have to, but you can save like a second or something by just quitting out. Okay, so now we need to go back to Ashina Castle idle. This is normally where you would get put, but since I took that safety idle, I had to warp to it. And here we're going to get into our very first air swim. So to line ourselves up for the air swim, you'll notice this very clear white patch where sort of it's missing a tile. You want to be just in front of that, just before that, about like here, and aim right at this corner there. And we're going to run and jump off, and then do a wall jump here to get out of bounds. It can be a little tricky, it can be a little finicky. Play around with it so you get pretty good at it. And now we're going to try to jump into that water over there. So you sprint here, jump over into this water, and then dive down. Now from here, it's a pretty specific path. So you got to go under this. There is actually some solid right here, even though it doesn't look like it. And then come up here until we can see the idol. There it is. Swim right up to the idol to get everything to load in. You'll notice everything loads in at once. Now we swim over to this corner right here, swim a little bit past it, and then head straight up in order to surface in this water here. You can surface in any of this triangle of water right here. Then dive back down. So now we've gotten things to load. Swim over this way, roughly through here. You want to see that screen turn green for a little bit. That means stuff is loading in. Swim over to about in this area, it doesn't matter exactly where, and quit out. The reason we have to quit out is to, again, get things to load. When we're in this air swimming state, things tend to not load correctly, and that can kill you. Alright, so here you're going to want to turn up, so you're facing pretty much as high up as you can, kind of diagonally up. Some people also like to sort of manually swim up a bit, but I just go straight diagonal and then start swimming forward. And you're going to do this for a little while till Senpou starts to load in. If you feel like it's been a little too long, you can turn yourself down and a bit to the right. And you need to make sure that that guy sees you there, gets aggro on you. Then this guy gets aggro on you as well. Then swim through here. These monkeys see you. Swim through here so this guy sees you. Swim into this corner roughly and come out of the water. And then we're going to run around and make sure that that dog sees us. This is the safest way to do it. There are faster ways, but this is the safest way to make sure you keep aggro on everything. And then as quickly as we can, we're going to come over here, rest at the idol, and quit out. And make sure you do this as fast as you can so that you're still in combat. And you'll generally know if you are still in combat if you still hear the music even as you're pausing. So now that we've loaded back in, we're right here, and we're going to turn to the right and swim right by this house here, and over here. Here you want to swim roughly to here and make sure that your screen turns that lightish blue color. And here we're going to swim right next to this rock right here. That's my sort of visual cue to make sure that I'm swimming straight. It's not actually a solid rock that you have to go around, but just sort of the fastest way to get down here. Once you get to the bottom, you want to line yourself up. My visual cue is right in this corner here in front of me. So I swim this way until the game stops me. I've hit the invisible wall. Now I'm going to turn to the right, scooch just a bit this way, and then pop out of the water. Now I'm in the correct spot right here. So now you're actually on a very, very thin, let's see if I can point it out. Now the water's in the way. You're actually on a very, very thin little section before you would fall off. I'm going to save my position with Cheat Engine just in case I do fall off. But basically, if you swim to the right at all, I can actually just demonstrate it. If you swim to the right, you'll fall off, which is no good. So you want to swim yourself to the left until you're up against this invisible wall. And then I'm going to line up my view in a particular way. You'll notice I'm holding forward and left together to swim into this exact corner. And now I'm going to line up my view so that you can see right above Sekiro, there's kind of a diamond shape in the tree branches. I'm going to line it up so that roughly lines up with this sort of arrow pointing right of the rock, if that makes sense. You can kind of see I'm making them touch right now where the diamond is touching that. I'm going to line those two up and then put them about this far away, about so that the rock formation is just inside of those leaves there. From here, you're going to hold forward and jump at about the same time, but start holding forward just before you hit the jump button, so you're jumping forward and not diagonally left. Then you're going to wait a bit. This is going to be sort of the important part. You have to wait before doing a diagonal right wall jump. So watch my inputs on the keyboard. I also have a separate tutorial video on my channel if you want to look at that. But those are the inputs you want to do. So you want to do forward jump. Oops, and I missed it there. So you want to line yourself up, do a forward jump, and then a diagonal right wall kick. So this is probably the hardest part in the entire run. Practice it a lot. And get Cheat Engine so that you can do what I'm doing and just reset your position. Just like that. So do that over and over and over again. This is the hard part of the run. There's no substitute. If you want to avoid doing this jump, your only choice is to do another category, because any percent requires this jump. From here, there's actually... Oh, I can't actually see it. There's a little gap here that you have to jump over. So make sure that once you land on this, you actually jump over that gap. And then we're going to kind of make our way over until this wall, which is actually solid right here. So for this wall, you've got to scoot yourself around it. Once you do, we're going to be on a timer. He's going to see us, so we're going to have to go fast. So scoot yourself around this wall here. You can go a lot faster than this, but... And then once you've scooched yourself around, we're going to start sprinting. So sprint here, and there's another gap here. Jump as soon as you pass through that rock. Follow along this invisible wall, jump over here, and then you're going to try to line yourself up so that your head is in this gap right here. That's how you know you're in the right spot. He might throw stuff at you. If he does, the camera zooms out like that. Look backwards and block. If you block it, it's not going to kill you. So again, look backwards and block. Boom, you're good. Alright, so line your head up in here, and then jump to the right over here. And here is your safe spot. Once you've made it here, you're safe. You don't have to rush anymore. You can line things up if you need to. From here, we're going to try to jump around to the left over here. Let's see if I can see the geometry. Yep. So see how there's that kind of wall right there? Our goal is to jump around that and get safely over onto the other side. So the way that I like to do it is I'll line my camera up and I'll just jump straight outward like this, and then I'll do a wall jump over like that. If you want to play it a little safer, instead of doing a wall jump forward like I did, you can do your wall jump to the right into the rocks for safety. It's a little slower, but you can do that. From here, our camera's going to get really messed up, but you just make your way over to this flower here, and you can grab it from behind, and then idle back. And And again, that part there is probably the scariest part of the whole run, so that's the one I would practice a lot. If you fall off there, it's really, really bad. You lose a couple minutes, you have to air swim back. It's no good. But once we've got it, now, when I warp back, normally I'd be at Temple Grounds. Obviously I had to do the air swim a second time, so I'm not, so I'll have to warp to Temple Grounds. Alright, so here, once we get here, we're going to want to switch to the Gachin Sugar, run and jump off of here, grapple onto this tree, jump again, grapple onto this tree here, use our Gachin, and then jump out here and do a wall kick to get out of bounds. So from here, you're going to want to run into the wall and then jump diagonally left to get over. I'm going to reuse a Gachin here because the timing's a little tight. And the time I've wasted here would make me sort of fail it. So run against it, jump out to the left like this, and then you're going to want to aim yourself about like this. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of visual cues. I have a visual cue in the clouds. You also can sometimes look down and get a visual cue, but you kind of just have to get a feel for it. And then you're going to grapple onto that tree branch there. Grapple up here, backstab this guy, come over and kill the invisible monkey, jump out, grapple onto this branch, run down through here, and then come straight in to deathblow the purple monkey. So jumping down there and getting the grapple can be really tough, so practice it a lot. I had to practice it a ton to find a visual cue that worked for me. Here, do not talk to her, otherwise you're going to softlock the game. Instead, come here, use both of your memories, and purchase spirit emblems. You need to purchase them now because they're going to get more expensive later. And now we're going to head back to the Ashina Castle. Alright, here we're going to do an air swim one more time. If you really don't like this air swim, you can actually just walk up normally, the same strategy as the no air swim category. But, you know, that's up to you. It's, I think, about a 10-ish second difference if you get it first try to do the air swim. But if you fail it, like I just did, you lose 20 seconds. So if you're not super confident with it, just go up the normal way. Just go up like that. You will have to do dojo skip then. But I'm going to assume if you're doing any percent, it's because you're fine with the air swim. So we're going to jump out here, like this, jump over here, dive down. So you'll notice I jumped into this left water here, then dive down, and now we're going to swim out to the left through this wall here, and then we're going to swim up into this area here, swim around this wall, and then you'll see there's this tree here. We actually swim right up through the tree itself, like that. That's the path that you need to follow in order to get through. Switch your item selection to Yashariku. We're going to need that for this fight coming up. And activate Genichiro. So now you're going to want to run right by Genichiro to the left, and when you get about here, start slashing twice, and then jump up to bait him into the corner, and from here we're dead angling. There are multiple ways to do this. I find the easiest for me is just to slash 3 times and then give it a pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2. When you do this death blow on him, make sure you do back up a tiny bit to keep him in the corner, otherwise he can get out. 2, 3, pause. The other way to do it is to do it. Whoops. I'm not very good at it. I shouldn't have tried. Is to do 4, and then you block, and then do one over and over like this. You'll notice I'm not very good at it, so I don't tend to use it. Alright, from here, once we get out of this cutscene, so I'm not going to skip it to explain, you're going to use your Yashariku as soon as you can, and turn around and do not target Genichiro. So like this. Use your Yash, turn around, don't target, now target him. Now for fighting him, you pretty much just want to slash away, unless he does lightning or a couple of other specific attacks. If he goes around behind you, pause for a second so that Sekiro can reposition himself to slash at him. And there you go. What your hope is that he does double lightning, because then he'll just die. But if he does anything else, you pretty much just play the fight normally. Once you do it enough times, you'll get some pretty good experience. That was a bad fight. I played it poorly as well, but just practice the fight itself. It's pretty standard. Alright, from here we're going to make sure to use our memory, because this is the last time we're going to be resting at an idol. And then we travel back to the Inner Sanctum. Oh, actually, I guess we could use the idol after the Inner Sanctum, or use the memory, I mean. Either way, talk to the Divine Heir, get yourself the Mortal Blade, and make sure that you do equip Mortal Draw. You have to equip Mortal Draw for this final fight with Ishin. It is a requirement for the strategy we use. Alright. So here we're going to have to do the air swim one more time in order to get up. Again, you can just go up normally, but it's going to lose you roughly 10-ish seconds. If you fall like this, just quit out. Don't idle back. It's a little faster to just quit out because you're still in combat. You still have that aggro, so you save quite a bit of time. Oops. So again, line yourself up. Oh. Oops. There we go. Alright, and again we're jumping over into this left side of the water, diving down, swimming left, and then up through here, coming around here, and going through the tree. And swimming up here. Again, for your mashing, make sure you do it in a rhythm rather than going as fast as you can. So here, use your dash targeter, sprint forward to bait her into attacking you. So the general strat here is if she blocks, you want to wait, let her attack, and then block like this. It'll generally get her into kind of a rhythm. You can also attack until she deflects, and then react to what she does, but it's just a little bit tougher. So the easiest one is generally just kind of attack her once, and then block. Make sure you do use your Yash, as that is fading out, so that you'll have it for phase 2. So for here, generally you attack twice, and then deflect, but you have to react to what he does, because he doesn't always pick the same thing. So hopefully I can show you a good number of the ways to react to things. Yeah, he's showing a pretty good variety of moves. Huh, this would be a horrible pattern to see in a real run. Alright, so as soon as you transition here, you're going to want to walk up to him, use a yash in his face, and then mortal draw him. Okay, well, when he's in a corner it's sometimes hard to see what move he's picking. That one I should have mortal drawed again. So anyone that looks like this, you mortal draw. Any of those sort of big wind-up ones. So like this, you would mortal draw. Basically, just practice the fight. Learn it. There's a way to react to every single move that he has. And there we are. The end of the run. And so the time would stop here, right on the credits. There. Hopefully that was a good tutorial for people looking for it. Again, a lot of the strategies that I used were very, very basic strategies that should be fairly safe. So if you're looking for better strategies, look at the world record run. It uses all of the absolute fastest strategies. They are a little bit less safe, a little bit more unsafe, so I wouldn't recommend them if you're starting out, but yeah, there you go. Hopefully this helps.